Today I thought I would try my luck at doing an online guide for Final Fantasy X. Now I know obviously this game has been out for a while, but I've never done a guide before, so I wanted to start off with a game that I know quite well. I must also add that I am very nervous about doing this guide since I've never done one before. So any of you that decide to watch it, I will be very grateful for any tips and guides that you guys can give me, especially those of you out there that have been YouTubing for a while who decide to take a gander. It would be greatly appreciated to learn some pros. So without further ado, let's get started on it and see how it goes. Alrighty then, so obviously I'll start a brand new game. I'm actually going to go with the standard sphere grid. For those of you that don't know, there are two grids. There's the expert grid and the standard grid. Now the expert grid are for those of us that are a bit more advanced at Final Fantasy, if you will. There's not really much difference between the grids, only I think there's like a few extra spheres on the expert one. I'm not entirely sure of the exact number without looking in the guidebook, nor do I intend to look at the guidebook for this particular guide either. So actually I'll choose the standard sphere grid. Now again, with the remake of Final Fantasy X, they've decided to put in a new soundtrack, and they've also given the option of going with the original. Now personally I prefer the original soundtrack, so I'm going with the original. So like I say, I am very new to this, doing online guides and stuff, you know, so like I say, I am very nervous at this. So if I do sort of either stutter or go quiet at times, it's only because I'm getting a tad nervous and I'm trying to make sure that I don't, so I cock the guide up. And also, like I said before, any helpful tips and hints and things and any feedback that you guys can give me will be greatly appreciated. So for those of you that don't know, in this game the objective is basically the summoner is trying to collect all the summoning to deal with sin. And I'll explain a bit more about that as we go through the storyline and whatnot. Now, I probably won't be able to go too far tonight, as I do have work again tomorrow. But all being well, I'll carry this on tomorrow once I get back from work, provided I'm not too knackered.
Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
Okay, so we're now at the starting point of the game. And in a minute we're going to get introduced to our first character, which is also the main character that you play as, basically. And his name, well, some people pronounce it Tidus and some people pronounce it Tidus. I'm not entirely sure as to the actual correct pronunciation, since his name never actually gets said out loud in the game. Me personally, I tend to call him Tidus because it's easier for me. But again, you know, feel free to speculate on that with your comments. You know, I'm all ears. So we now have free movement. Unfortunately, we don't have access to the infantry or anything like that as of yet. So first thing we've got to do, obviously, is speak to these guys.
Can you sign this?
No problem.
And then we can move on. So here you've got the option to keep the original name of Tidus, whatever you want to call him, or you can come up with your own name. Me personally, I'm just going to stick with the normal Tidus name, whatever you want to call it.
Alrighty.
Me too!
Take it easy. I won't let you down.
Thanks! Can I have your autograph?
Of course.
Good luck tonight!
Nothing to worry about.
I should probably take a moment to just explain the sport in which he's signing the balls for, and that is Blitzball.
That will mean it was for you. Okay.
One of the very big sort of side quests to the game.
What seat?
Walk in the front row!
You'll learn a bit more about this later on.
Got it.
For those of you that don't know, Tidus is the star player of the Xanacan Abes, which is where we are at the moment.
Well, gotta go. Cheer for me.
2,
Hence why
3.
he's signing the
Teach us
well,
how to
that's pretty
play.
obvious, but, you know.
Hey, I got a game to play.
Then teach us after.
Maybe tonight, well...
You can't tonight.
I mean, tomorrow.
Promise?
Now,
Promise.
the other character that's just appeared near Tidus, or did appear near Tidus, you'll learn more about that particular character later on. I won't spoil it just yet. It took me quite a while to figure it out when I very first played, but I got there in the end. So for those of you that don't know, the guy up on the wall there that Tidus is looking at is his father, who was a Blitzball champ before Tidus. We'll learn a little bit more about him later.
I was in a coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, checked, gone, vanished into thin air.
So there's not much to pick up here.
My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be.
Simple straw.
Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself,
why not
what are
take
you
in the
thinking?
scenery while you're here?
I went running straight back home.
In HD,
We sat
it
up
looks
talking about
beautiful now
Jack
on
all
my app.
night.
Make way, make way!
So here we just have to push our way
Coming
through the
through, so-
crowds.
Hey! Hey!
As you can see, Titus is quite popular. Now we enter into our first cutscene, so I'm going to be quiet for a minute while it goes through. Enjoy. Who's this? It's Oren. He doesn't officially join the team until quite a bit later on. He's actually my favourite character as well, I might add. And he was part of Jet's team, which is Titus' father. And those two together with a high summoner called Brass that they defeated Sid 10 years ago in the game. And of course now, you're probably thinking, well those of you who haven't played the game before are probably now thinking, hang on a minute, they killed Sin 10 years ago. So how on earth has he come back? Well, I'm not going to spoil that for you just yet, you'll find that out later. Sorry about stopping dead there, guys. Controller died on me, I do apologise. Anyway, moving on. So, in the cutscene you will have seen Sin attack.
Oren! What are
And now
you
we come
doing
up to
here?
Oren.
I was waiting.
What are you talking about?
Now, we have got our first... Well, I say it's a boss fight, it's more of a mini boss fight. I'd hardly call it a proper boss fight.
Huh?
It begins.
What?
Don't cry.
So that's the second time we've
What
seen
the?
this mysterious,
Huh?
well,
Hey,
character.
wait!
But again, we still don't know who she is at this point.
Hey, not
Or
this
he,
way.
rather. Is it he or she? Do you know what? I can't actually remember.
A gift from Jet.
My old man?
Sorry about that, guys. I had to link a quick notification to the to my live stream setup. I wasn't sure if my voice was coming through or not.
We cut through.
I wanted to make sure that it was. So anyway, like I said, we've got our first mini boss fight coming up. So like I said, I'd not really class it as a boss fight. So with these ones, they're pretty
Don't bother
easy,
going
just
after all
one
of
hitting them.
Cut the ones that matter and run.
Okay, so here we have our mini boss fight. Pretty simple battle.
Get out of my town!
Some can't wait to die.
Okay, so with this first part, we have to follow the game's instructions, which is using the overdrive. Now, Oren has 4 different overdrives with 4 different codes to them. Basically with this boss fight, all you can actually do is deck it with physical attacks. It's pretty much as simple as that. With the overdrives, I'll explain how to get them as we go through, starting with Titus's. He has Spiral, Cut, Slice and Dice, Energy Rain and Blitzos. Now to unlock each of his overdrives, you simply have to use his overdrive a certain amount of times. So I believe with his first one, which is Slice and Dice, you simply have to use his first overdrive 10 times, and then for Energy Rain I believe it's something like 20 to 30 times, and then unfortunately with the Blitz Ace it's a mighty like 80 odd times, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Now, Orange Overdrive, on the other hand, is slightly different. After you progress past a certain part of the game, you will be able to start collecting what's called the Jet Spheres. After you collect a certain amount of Jet Spheres, it will unlock each of the overdrives. Now there's 10 Jet Spheres in total, and when we get to that point in the guide, I'll show you where each of them are and how you can get them. So as you can see, it was just a barrage of physical attacks, no need to really heal, it doesn't do that much damage, and that's the first boss fight dealt with. So just after this, you'll come across your save point, the very first one on the right. Just clicking on it will restore all party members' health to full. This also includes MP. So we'll just save our game here. Shit, no, we don't want to get rid of that one. That's my old save. I need that, as I'm going to be using that for part of the guide later on. Because you see, I also wanted to show about the completed sphere grids for those of you that are actually generally trying to go for the full sphere grid trophies. I want to show you what the completed sphere grid should look like in order to get that trophy.
Huh? Give me a break, man.
And on my other profile, because I've been working on this game for quite a while, I've actually managed to complete 3 of the sphere grids on that profile. I'm still yet to do the other 4 because it's quite repetitive, I have to admit. So with this fight, eventually you're going to be aiming for the cannon on the right there, but for the time being we just want to be picking off a few of these until Oren gives the word to start decking it. Oops. Oh, what am I doing? Now I'm just going to pause this recording for a second because I've got this video up on Facebook and I'm noticing that my voice isn't coming through very well, so I'm just going to try and alter my audio settings. Right, hopefully I should be coming through a bit better now. So like I say, this is my first time doing a guide. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Although this is supposed to be more of a test run than anything, to see whether I've got what it takes to do a guide.
That! Knock it down!
What?
Trust me, you'll see.
So we can now start attacking the bit on the side there. Should only take 3 to 4 hits, I reckon. Okay, so the game's making me look like a bit of a liar. It's actually more than 4 hits, but what can we do? Oh, well, there you go, 5 hits then. I was only 1 off. It's not that big of an issue. So we're going to go into another sort of cutscene again now. So enjoy.
Sure. This is it. This is your story. It all begins here.
Hey. Hey!
My old man?
So just ignore that internet sign thing, it's just being stupid again as per usual. From what I can see on my Facebook page, it is still broadcasting, so we'll continue. Not exactly sure how to describe it.
I thought about a lot of things. Like where I was, what I got myself into. I started to feel lightheaded, and then sleepy. I think I had a dream of being alone. I wanted someone, anyone beside me, so I didn't have to feel alone anymore.
Anybody there? Aaron! Hey!
So we are now in a new area, which is called, well, it's just outside of an area called Ydda Temple. Or at least that's how I pronounce it. We'll come back here later on. Now that we're in this area, we do have access to our inventory, so our items, abilities, which at the moment we have none. Overdrive. Now with the overdrive, you can view which ones you have, but you can also set the mode. Now this determines how your overdrive gorge charges. So the one that we've got at the moment, which is the standard one, that's stoic, which basically means it will charge for each time you get, well, decked by an enemy. One of the best ones to go for, which basically just, in order to unlock it, you just need to keep using physical attacks, and that is the warrior overdrive. Now this basically, when you switch it to that, every time you hit an enemy, your overdrive goes up. And the more damage you do, the more your overdrive will go up quicker. So, let's move on. Just switch that across. Okay, so we've got our first couple of items to get here. First one is, let me just make sure I'm getting this right, is on the left side, I believe. I will just need a moment to confirm that. So obviously you have to sort of waddle your way through the water. Here we go, I found the step now. So when you come up the step, you've got the sphere here. Now this basically lets you take any alphabet primers that you found in previous games and bring them across. So I'll just bring them across from my other profile. So then we'll synthesize that. Oops. There we go. Then if we come back on ourselves down here, we've got our first chest. And it's 2 potions. Our second item will be across on the right hand side. Now, the 2 items here that we're picking up are quite often missed by people. I mean, I noticed, I watched this other guy called Fuzzfinger, and I've got to say, he's bloody good at Final Fantasy from what I've seen. And, but yeah, he missed one of the items. So here's our second item on the right, and it's 200 gil.
What do we...
Of course, although I say Fuzzfinger missed the item, to give him his due, he did apologise and go back on himself and get it in his next video, so yeah. So anyway, once you've picked up those 2 items, head to the far end of the room and follow the path up through. You have your second save crystal here, which I'm not actually going to bother with for now. For those of you that are beginners, I would suggest that you save it just to play safe. Now as you come forward on that main platform, head round to your left and follow it round. You'll find a chest with a high potion in it. That'll be your 3rd item. So from here, I'll be ducking under and going to the left ever so slightly. And in a second we'll be coming into another little mini fight, followed by a very quick mini boss fight. Now when you see the boss fight, you're probably going to be thinking, oh god, how am I going to beat this thing? It's huge. His attacks are far more powerful than I can handle right now. Do not panic. You don't have to kill him at this point. You can choose to come back and get your revenge on him later, when your team's a lot stronger. So as I said, we have the little mini fight. Now the boss will come out. You only actually have to twat him like 2 or 3 times, and then your character should break away and leg it basically. So like I said, you only need to hit him 2 or 3 times. Move on into the next area.
I had made it out of the frying pan and into the freezer. I thought I was gonna die in this place.
So we are now technically inside a temple called Barge Temple, or Barge Temple, however you want to pronounce it. So we are now technically inside a temple called I'm afraid my pronunciation is not exactly very good with some of these names. So feel free to laugh at my mispronunciation. Now, in this room, there are some more items to collect.
Need fire.
So from our position here, we're going to go to our left and through this door here next to the save point. Again, you can save your game if you want. And we're going to examine this room, because here we'll find our first item that we need to set up the fire. Now, from the bonfire, if you go round to the right, I believe it is, and follow it round to the back here, up near this door up here, you'll find to the right of it an X potion in a chest. And then come back on yourself and veer off to the right again, this time going through the other door. And then directly behind you before you go up the stairs is another chest with an ether in it. Now the ether item is good for recovering MP later on. Up the stairs on your right you will find your second item that you need, which at the moment for some reason it's being weird, I don't know why. Ah, there we go. I think the game was having a spastic moment. Then if you follow the path a bit further forward, out the door, come all the way to the back, I believe it's at the back, there is one last item. Yep, there it is. And that's another high potion. Now for the time being, potions are your best friend. But later on when you get your summoner, you'll have the ability to use the cure spell, and eventually when you work your way through the sphere grid you'll have Cura and Curaga as well. So once you've collected all those items and you've got the other 2 items that you need, come to the fire and set up shop. And then it should go into another cutscene. So enjoy.
I need food. What do you want?
It was a bad call. Your team lost because of you.
You came to say that?
It's been 10 years. I thought you'd be crying.
Who, me?
You cried.
Hey, wait! Don't go out on me! Just hold on. I'll get more wood.
So in case you couldn't tell, Titus was a bit of a crybaby back in the day. So here we have our next boss fight. Pretty easy one. Now it would appear that I have made a little bit of a cock up here because I forgot to see to my health before coming to the battle, so I'm just going to heal myself up. But basically with this one, it's a similar